about my impression of the year 2019. I think that first of all, as far as China is concerned, that China has celebrated the 70th anniversary of the founding the People's Republic of China. And we have completed our strategic plan of developing a moderately welfare society in China. What does this kind of celebrations or completion mean for our Pakistani friends? I think first that we have gone through 70 years of up and downs along with Pakistani nation, Pakistani people. Past 70 years, we did experience a lot of twists, turns. But one thing is very clear for the Chinese leadership, Chinese government, and more importantly, Chinese people, that Pakistan remained during the past 70 years the strongest, firmest, and best friend of China. So for the past 1 year, we also celebrate 70 years history of our friendship. Second, since China has moved into a new stage of development, we say that a high quality development. This high quality means that China's development will be driven by a higher standards, paying more attention to the, for example, to the efficiency of the economy, to the environment protection, to the clean development. And what does it mean for our relationship with Pakistan? That means our cooperation with Pakistan also will move into a new stage, that is clean, green, and high quality cooperation. CPEC is not exceptional. For the year of 2019, we also witnessed a lot of international and regional changes. The world becomes far, far away from peace and stability. A lot of new challenges came before us. For example, for China has been faced with a lot of defamations, unjustified victimization by the Western media. The China-Pak relationship is also sometimes picked up by the Western media. For example, our cooperation, CPEC cooperation, is under a kind of suspicion, doubt, even challenge. For our region, you can see a lot of negative development. Some countries adopt the unilateral actions to change. For example, Kashmir. The historical dispute has been ignored. The international justice has been ignored. The UN charters, the Security Council resolutions are no more respected. And the regional countries like China and Pakistan, along with the other countries, we have every responsibility to restore, to seek the international justice and the historical justice prevailing again. We also see that some challenges regarding the peace process in Afghanistan, regarding the situation in Middle East. But I'm satisfied and happy that during all these changes, China and Pakistan have remained as a very strong partners. Both the countries, both the governments, both the people, we are working together for the peace and the stability. If I should say that the year of 2019 is challenging, but when we are faced with the forthcoming year of 2020, I think that both sides, the China and Pakistan, we should also express our determination, express our devotion to our common cause, for example, our common development. For our common cause, for example, the regional peace and the stability. For our common cause, for example, the international and the regional justice to be prevailed. During this course, within the forthcoming new year, the Chinese government and people will continue to firmly cooperate with the Pakistani government and people. We will pay more attention to the cooperation of our mutually beneficial projects. The CPEC has moved into a new stage, and with the guidance of your government, your leadership, your people, the second stage of the CPEC will be focused on 4 areas. Industry cooperation, that is to empower the private sectors of Pakistan to establish joint ventures with their Chinese partners to enhance your capability of export and earning foreign exchange reserves. Another area we will give more attention is to the agricultural sector. Agricultural technology display centers will be established all over Pakistan. Our agricultural companies are coming to purchase more agricultural products. Commercial plantation of rice, sugarcane, cotton will be implemented with the support of the both sides. A cage fishery project will be established in Makran, Balochistan, with investment from the Chinese side. The third area we are giving more resources is to the social sector. As envisioned by your Prime Minister, we are giving the first priority, the poverty alleviation. A special team has been established to provide necessary expertise and experiences. Along with our government grant and assistance, will come to Pakistan and to find or locate several villages to have the model of poverty alleviation. We will give focus on the skill development. 50 vocational training centers will be established all over Pakistan. We will give more resources to the education, to the healthcare sector. We will give more attention to the water management. So this is the social sector. And finally, a new area has been decided under the CPEC, that is science and technology. Only by enhancing the cooperation in science and technology, we can catch up with the production chain, and we have more value-added production to be carried out in Pakistan. So that will be a new stage of CPEC, a new phase of the CPEC. That is the maximum scope of the society will be engaged, and the maximum scope of the community will benefit. Right now, our two governments have been working very closely in implementing this kind of projects. For the year of 2020, definitely, we are still faced with a lot of challenges. These challenges are not from Pakistan. These challenges are not from China. These challenges are from the enemies who don't want to see an amicable, a friendly relations between our two countries. These challenges come from some of the enemies. They don't want to see our cooperation, CPEC, or other cooperation in other areas to benefit, to enhance our capability of maintaining or safeguarding our sovereignty, to developing our economy, and our capability of maintaining the peace and stability for the region. During this course, I also have to appreciate first all the media friends for your efforts, for your attention to the Sino-Pac relations. I have to also advocate for your further attention, further efforts to this relationship. For the media friends, you are right now very powerful. You are shaping the perception. You are sharing the truth. You are communicating or bridging between the government and the people. But more importantly, you are also bridging. You are also bridging this Pakistan and the world. To some extent, the Sino-Pac relationship and the friendship is under your control. So if possible, that of course our embassy will do more in communicating, sharing the information of our cooperation with you. But in the meanwhile, I would like to say for the media friend, in Pakistan in particular, that if possible, all the reports about China, about China-Pac relationship, if you have any kind of inquiries, please check with our embassy, our media representatives, and also our sources. Right now, there are so many rumors. Even I have 1,000 mouths. I could not clarify these rumors. One of the examples, today we have a little exhibition of the photos. That is our Xinjiang Autonomous Region. That is a Muslim-dominated province of China. I just give you some of the figures. In 1949, 70 years ago, the Muslim residents, citizens in that province was about 4 million. After 70 years, the population of Xinjiang Muslims, they are 14 million. In 1949, when the new China was founded, the Muslims, their per year income is about I should say, $70 per year. But right now, their annual income for each and every citizen in Xinjiang province is $7,000. In 1949, 70 years ago, in Xinjiang province, we have less than 10,000 mosques. But right now, in 2019, right now we have 25,000 mosques for all the Muslim communities. And some of the photos demonstrate their current life. However, if you look at the Western media, that looks like a lot of suffering over there, a lot of injustice over there. In the year of 2019, I think at least 8 delegations from Pakistan, mostly are from the journalists or the media friends, they visited Xinjiang. They wrote a lot about Xinjiang, what they saw, what they experienced. However, this kind of facts, this kind of first-hand experience have been ignored. However, the Western media is giving a kind of very negative exposure to that. For example, in Hong Kong, a small island, I don't know which government can tolerate every weekend hundreds of these young guys. We know they are mobilized by some Western NGOs. They came to the shops, they came to the subway stations, they came to the public buildings. They set fire. They broke the railways. They stopped all the public traffic. The Hong Kong administration wanted to control this kind of crimes and riots, but this kind of control becomes a kind of ideological problem for China, for Hong Kong. Yes, China is rising, but China is rising peacefully. We want to communicate, we want to be understood. But unfortunately, China has been picked up as a target. Whatever you do, you may not satisfy these sectors, these powers. But for me, I'm working in Islamabad. I'm working for China and Pakistan relations. So I count on you, all my dear friends. If you have any inquiries, if you want to report anything related to China, related to China-Pak relations, I hope you can pay more attention to the Chinese sources, to what we are presenting, to what is really happening in China and in this relationship. Your efforts are commendable. Your efforts are significant. Your efforts, I think, is directly relevant for the future of our relationship. For example, an older friend here, if you have 1 week time, I would like to invite you to Xinjiang, to pay a personal visit, to look, to see what is happening over there. And I would like to also highlight your first-hand experience in the local media, in international media, in that. However, we are not, I think, we are not scared. We are ready, because this is the stage we believe China has to go through. This is the stage I think that we have every confidence to overcome. We just released last year's development statistics. Last year, in 2019, the GDP of China has grown 6.2% compared with the year before. Our per capita GDP for 1.4 billion people has exceeded $10,000. And the whole Chinese nation is unprecedentedly united, that we believe in our own future. We believe in our own development. We don't need anyone. We don't need anyone right now to teach us what China should do, how China should do. Because we believe in our cause. Because our cause is put our people at the center. When we are developing relations, external relations with our neighbors, with our international communities, we are very sensitive that to demands, to the concerns, to the local conditions of our partners. So we are also very confident in developing our mutually beneficial relations or cooperation with our international partners. And in this regard, Pakistan is among our priorities of developing a more people-centered, mutually beneficial cooperation and friendship. And we also have this confidence to do a good job in moving our relationship into a kind of a community of shared future. By sharing future, we mean our two nations have the same orientation. Our two nations have the same policies. Our two nations have the same purposes when we are looking at our own nations, when we are looking at the world outside. The year of 2020 is coming, and I would like to also invite your attention to our next stage of the cooperation. This cooperation is not limited to CPEC only, because CPEC basically is in the social sector and the economic sector. We also have cooperation in the sector of defense. We also have cooperation in the sectors of international affairs. Let's work together. Let's work together for the betterment of our two nations and the two countries. Let's work together for a more fair and just international and regional order. Let's work together in dealing with this negative international propaganda against China, against Pakistan, and against China and Pakistan relationship. So today, we host this reception just to want to establish this kind of platform to have a closer interaction with our media friends, and also trying to seek more understanding from you. A new year begins, and a new hope definitely comes along with it. I still believe we have a brighter future for our relationship. And definitely, I firmly believe that there will be a brighter future for our friendly Pakistani nation. So this is what I want to say, and thank you again. Am I supposed to answer questions? Okay, whatever. Yeah, please.
Question is, since we have also talked some of the Western powers against CPEC, influence CPEC and made the joint Pakistan and China to complete this project and find the conspiracies of
Concern about CPEC. I think that regarding the joint attack, I think the fundamental thing is we present, implement a good CPEC project that is understood, accepted, beneficial to the people, by the people. That means basically the Pakistani people and the Chinese people. This is the fundamental strength of our strength of the CPEC. This project should be benefit the private sector, common community, and the different provinces and areas of Pakistan. This, I should say, the fundamental strategy for both China and Pakistan to show the world that we are doing a project favored by the people. In the meanwhile, of course, we will have to have closer consultation between the two governments before we decide any kind of new project, the model, the financial package, the details. And I think that right now both sides have this sensitivity that we have to make it, as we said, is inclusive, green and clean projects. This is second. Thirdly, I think that this strategy counts on you, media friends. Your pens, your minds, your publications are so important. So when the US or other countries, they raise questions, check with your government, check with our Chinese side before you write something, before you answer something. And also check with the local people, with the community of that. So I think this should be the joint. That is, we do our things in a better way.
Thank you, sir. This is Zarwoon Shah from Geo Television here. Thanks, sir. Last time, I think 6 months back, it was China and the unilateral step of its consultative meeting. This time it is again being raised. UNSC, your comments, please. Thank you.
Yeah, and we think that this kind of high tension could be detrimental to the regional peace and stability. The Indians' unilateral change of the status quo, the ignorance of the historical dispute is not acceptable. Is not acceptable. So that is why I think that this dispute, Kashmir issue, should be settled according to the UN Security Council resolutions. And also you have some bilateral agreements. As far as the Security Council is concerned, China is a permanent member of the Security Council. Under the Indian-Pak relation, this topic is always on the agenda of the Security Council. So as a responsible member of the Security Council, I think that we have the right and the responsibility to let the international community to pay attention to what's happening in Kashmir. So I think that right now, I think even today, hopefully that the Security Council is listening or to discussing that the Kashmir issue again in New York. Thank you.
Confrontation between when Iran and China do trade with Iran, we will impose sanctions on the Chinese are still evaluating the feasibility of the projects.
Okay, I'll give you the two questions. One is regarding Iran and the United States. I think that China, as a major, I should say, a major economy in the world, definitely we have economic cooperation with the old world, United States, Iran, so that in the international relations, we are always against these military means. We are always against sanctions. We think that all these disputes should be settled by dialogue through diplomatic means. And we appreciate your foreign minister just took a very important visit to both Iran and Saudi. We got the briefing of his efforts, and we appreciate that. However, the problems between the United States and Iran, they are very complicated. So the United States put the sanctions, and they had this kind of current tension situation. We are very much concerned. So although that we have the economic relations with both the United States and Iran, but I think that as far as China is concerned, the international principles are more important, that we would like to encourage and also facilitate a kind of engagement and a kind of diplomatic channels between the United States and Iran, like Pakistan is doing. Regarding the CPEC, I should say since the new government in Pakistan has been established, and I think for the past 1.5 years now, no, the CPEC is not slow down. For example, the new project after the new government took over. I just give you an example in Gwadar Port. We have 5 new projects already started just 2 months ago. A vocational training center, a 200-bed hospital, new airport, desalination water plant for 5,000 tons, and a 300 megawatt power plant. And also, we have some other, for example, under the social sector, poverty alleviation, education, health, we have 27 projects have already been finalized, and 10 of them right now are in the process of implementation. What you don't see a lot is that these mega projects, that is maybe the reason why you feel they are slowing down or less tangible. For the next stage of the mega project, we are in consultation with your government, basically on the railway mainline, ML1. Yeah, because right now your fiscal limitation, so we will find a new model of financing package. So both the government have constituted a financing team, joint committee, to find a proper financial package for this. CPEC won't slow down, but CPEC could change the focus and the areas. The first stage of the CPEC, we focus on the power generation, motorways, and SEZs and Gwadar Port. But the second stage, basically, they are more, I should say, based on the community, based on the people. So their size might be not very big. But for example, one project we have already started, but may not be noticed by you. 10,000, this solar powered this tube well for the KPK province. These people are working maybe in the villages, but they may not come to, because we want to improve the irrigation availability of the water resources. So I think that this is the new stage of the CPEC. And this might be the stage of the CPEC more suitable for the current cooperation status quo, and more maybe more accommodate your current government's vision and priorities. So this is my impressions.
Thank you, Excellency. This is Sayyid Asif Ali from DT. Excellency, thank you very much for your concern of the Chinese Muslim and Chinese mosque, because although they are your citizens, but your concern for because we are the Muslims in Pakistan. Excellency, there is another issue, which is the Chinese and Pakistani marriages. And this issue is very much highlighted by the international organizations and NGOs. And it is also affecting the grassroots level relations between Pakistan and the Chinese. And it's what are your findings? It's a negative propaganda, or there is something on the ground?
I think that this is, you means basically the marriage between the Chinese citizens and Pakistani citizens. And there are different kinds. Let me share with you. First is that this we call the free love. There are some Chinese citizens, they are working in Pakistan project. Through their interaction, they find their partners, or very, very few. Maybe 1 year, maybe we can have the 5 or 10 couples. They are normal, because I think that's natural when the people are close. This. Second is we call it, from our law, Chinese law, we call it illegal, because according to the Chinese law, we call this matching or these marriage agencies. All these Chinese marriage agencies are not allowed to do the international or transnational marriage service. But unfortunately, starting from mainly 2018, there's a large number of these kind of agencies. But these agencies, of course, they have the local agencies too, Pakistani agencies and Chinese agencies. There are some, they took charge, and they bring the Chinese boys and the Pakistani girls together. If all these marriages are volunteer and without these kind of illegal agencies, I take them they are normal. But unfortunately, that when they are actually illegally matched, took together, and these agencies took a lot of money from that, then according to our law, it is illegal. So but at the previous stage, 2018, we didn't pay a lot of attention to that. So there was quite a lot of this. I think in 2018, totally, according to our statistics, about 150 these kind of marriages took place. When we realized these problems, and after we consultation with your governments, so since this last year, 2019, we are very, very careful about that. We have to get all these documents attested by your relative ministries, and we get all these marriages checked, even with your local authority. Sometimes we even go to the families of these applicants of this visa. So generally, the two governments, especially the two ministries of interior of China and Pakistan, we are investigating, and we are going to stop this illegal practice of the marriage between the two, because this is against our law. And I think that your law, I'm not sure, but I think your law doesn't also allow that, these kind of. So this is right now position. We are no more and allowing these illegal matches, illegal agencies, providing this kind of service between the two peoples.
Excellency, Anwar Abbas here from Bol News.
Sir.
Actually, on this occasion, when you have invited media over here, I just want to bring small thing into your notice. That the media persons who are covering foreign affairs and diplomatic in case, most of them, they are not being invited by the embassy, or they remain unaware regarding the events. So I would like to request you to look into the issue.
Okay, I think I will pick up our press counselor, Mr. Jiang. This is your problem. How can you ignore any one of them? We could not annoy this, especially next time for the media. All the friends are welcome, sir. But sometimes because of the shortage of our staff, we could not look after all the sectors. Please do let me know, okay? And